Hello and welcome to Manage My Mojo, and I am Peter James. Today I wanted to talk about a simple to use improvement plan. This is a bit funny because I'm looking at my picture on the phone I'm recording this on, and note to self, look at where the camera is. So I'm looking at where the camera is now. Little tip for those that are not used to this stuff. So a simple to use performance improvement plan. So we live our lives and we do things naturally. A lot of what we do comes through learned habit, comes through repetition. Now, mostly I deal with small business owners, network marketers, coaches, healers, and I work to help them improve their productivity to get better at what they do using soft skills. Generally speaking, what they want to do is help heal the world or improve the world. And so these small business owners and the like are looking to improve their productivity. Now, most of us, or many of us, are living in a world of overwhelm. There's so much that's thrown at us on a daily basis. Goodness knows how many emails we receive, and then we got Facebook Messenger and text and WhatsApp and Instagram and who knows what else. And we're constantly getting distractions. Constantly there are others vying for our attention. And meanwhile, we have a task in front of us, our business, that we want to move forward on, that we want to elevate and improve. And we're taken away from it. So when we do try to work on it, we're overwhelmed. Add to that many of us are experts in our own area of skills or of knowledge, and yet now all of a sudden we have to be consistently good at marketing, communicating, technology, working with making YouTube videos, having a blog, publishing a website, podcasts if those people do that. And so it can be so overwhelming, and we can be so busy all day long, and at the end of the day we're really not getting that much done. Now, for many of us who struggle, one of the challenges is the quick fix. We get it in our feeds, we get it in our email: do this, make money overnight, become expert at this or that, and it's all done, it's all promised so quickly. But it depends on hope. So when you're overwhelmed, there's a hope that you can get out of this. So often we apply for those things. We end up in a worse situation than when we started. So while we're scrolling online or even face-to-face networking, people are constantly vying to take our attention. So one of the things that I've learned and used over the years is that a small 4-step sequence I learned. And basically it's desired outcome, action, measure the outcome, and then adjust the action. So we've got to keep doing that consistently until we get the outcome that we want. So if we set a goal, for example, to get 20 likes in a day on whatever social media, and we set that as a goal and we get 5, how do you improve that? How there's certain things that you must do, but I don't know if that's the right measurement. So one of the things we need to do is we need to make sure that the goals we set are achievable goals, and that they can be achieved, and we can see how they can be achieved. And if they're not achieved, we can adjust them. So if I go on a diet and I say I'm not going to eat burgers and fries for lunch for the next 2 weeks to lose 3 pounds, for example, if I get on the scale after 2 weeks and I've only lost 1 pound, I know that something's wrong. I know either that cutting out burgers and fries for lunch is not enough, or that I cheated. So I can either use more discipline, or I can repeat for another 2 weeks and lose another pound, or I can add something else into the mix. Either way, I am adjusting the action. So the initial desired outcome was to lose 3 pounds. The action was to eliminate the burgers and the fries. And when I measured the performance, step 3, at the end, I see that I haven't achieved my desired outcome. But I have an outcome. It's not desired, but now I can take that outcome, compare it with a desired outcome, and then reason, what do I need to do? What do I need to adjust or tweak? And then put it back into action and follow that new plan. Unfortunately, one of the things that stops people from doing this is our self-talk. Many of us use self-talk to rationalize the results we have received, the results we've got, rather than just looking at it factually and being separated from it. So you've got to sort of detach yourself and look at it as an outsider, like you're the coach or you're the sergeant major or you're I'm not someone of higher authority than yourself. And when you can detach yourself and just look at the desired outcome, the action, the measured outcome, and then put it into a new plan of action and put that into action, then you're going to see results. But we have to be honest with ourselves. We cannot rationalize it. And when I say rationalize it, people often say, like, yes, but I've always been big boned, or I could never lose weight, or, well, that doesn't work for me. I tried it. That diet doesn't work. I have a strong suspicion, I could be wrong, I have a strong suspicion that most of those diets work if you stick with them, if you're consistent, and if you're honest with yourselves. Now, I'm not here to promote any diets. I'm just using that as an analogy many people can probably relate to. But when it comes to your business and you want to see improvement, then we've got to start looking at what it is that we do and where we need to spend our energy. We need to eliminate distractions as much as we can. So go through your email and start unsubscribing from all of those things that you were going to look at later. Looking at things later doesn't really help at all. It just puts things off. At the end of the day, you don't want things put off. If at the end of the day, you can look at your plan for the week and you can see that you're moving along the plan, then you can switch off at the end of the night, go for a walk, meet up with friends, socialize, have a game with the family, watch a movie, do whatever it is you want to do to relax and in your free time. However, it's very hard to do that when there are constant thoughts coming into your head of things that need to be done yet. Oh, but I didn't do the budget numbers. I didn't adjust this. I didn't look at that. I didn't work out today, but I'll get to it tomorrow. It's all nonsense and it's all distracting you from what you need to do. So yes, we need discipline, we need consistency, and then we need the 4 steps. And look at where you're working in your business and where you want to see things change, where you want to set a goal. Try it with small things to begin with and set a desired outcome. Put it into action and then measure using whatever measurements you put in your desired outcome at the end of the time that you put in your desired outcome. And then if you haven't reached your desired outcome, adjust the action, adjust the plan, and put that into action and stick with it on a daily basis. So let's go back to the losing the weight. If one of the things was that I was not going to eat burger and fries for lunch, I want to focus on not eat burgers and fries for lunch, not losing the 3 pound. Because if I focus on the 3 pound, losing the 3 pounds, and I miss I eat a burger and fries for lunch. So I'm focused on the 3 pounds. I went out with some friends. I was weak and I had the burger and fries. So, but my focus is on the 3 pounds. So I'm not going to address that. I'm saying, yeah, but I'll be okay tomorrow. I'll be really strict tomorrow. So now we're pushing it off into the future again today. Rather, if you've got some check off, some matrix where you check off each day that you did omit burgers and fries for lunch, then you can say to yourself, hey, I ate a burger and fries for lunch. Why did I do that? You can look at that and you can say, I was weak, I was tempted, I hung out with this friend and he or she always persuades me what to do, or something along those lines. And then you can take an action to make sure that doesn't happen again. So you're focused on the steps you need to take to get to losing that 3 pound, not the end goal. If you do all of the steps, you'll get to the end goal, or close enough to the end goal, or some way to the end goal where you can measure and then make a new plan. Now, it's important also to, before you start this, to reflect on what are the things that could get in your way. So you want to improve your performance in this area. Let's say you want to get likes, or you want to make a live broadcast every day. You do it for a week and then it drops off. So what can you do to make sure you do it every day like you said you would, or at least 5 days a week? And so you need to look at that, and before you even start, mentally make a commitment, mentally focus on the outcome, mentally focus on what are the steps you need to do, and even take a piece of paper and a pen, or if you want a piece of pen and a paper, I don't mind, and write down some possible obstructions or distractions or things that could get in the way of you achieving that desired outcome. And you need to be honest with yourself, and then you need to be consistent. Now, one last thing is that we must absolutely be reasonable and start with small steps. You need to start with baby steps. I'm looking down here because I've got a cursor on my notes. Okay, so we need to look at taking baby steps. Practice this process with small steps so you get small wins, and that will help. And then after a week, you can add another process that's a little bit bigger, another goal that's a little bit bigger. And so slowly you move into it. That makes so much sense, but many of us want the big results now, and it doesn't always work like that. And that's often why we don't get what we desire. That's often why we start to rationalize it, because we don't want to be honest with ourselves and say we did not achieve it. Now, you can go too far with that and then start beating you up and having all sorts of anxiety problems and everything else as well. So let me tell you, I was a chef for many, many years, and I worked as an executive chef in St. Martin. In St. Martin, we had the only golf course on the island, and the golf pro was a friend of mine. We used to have golf trips come from the ships when they would come into port on their cruise and visit St. Martin. And he'd get a group of 20 people coming for the golf trip to play golf. And many times he would have them, especially if they wanted a lesson or they wanted to hire the golf clubs. He would line them up, and he would line up 4 or 5 balls about 2 feet away from the hole on a putting green, and he would have them putt them, and they would all go in. And then he'd move it back to maybe 5 feet, and they would putt them and they'd all go in, and then he'd move them back to 7 feet. So he's doing small increments, and so they're getting the habit, the learned muscle of success of getting it in. What most people would do when they came off the ship without his coaching is they would set a few balls up 15 to 20 feet away from the hole. They have some putts, they may get 1 or 2 in, and then they miss. They miss a lot more than they get in. And then they go for a game of golf. So subconsciously, they're thinking, I'm not very good at golf, I'm not very good at this. They may not realize they're thinking that, but that's what's going on, and they don't have the best game of golf. So when you apply this plan, small increments, desired outcome, what is it that you want to achieve? Write that down, and then put the steps that you need to do, the steps, just like setting a goal, the actions that you need to perform, and the timeline and the measurements, and then put it into action for that period of time. At the end of the period of time, you stop and you measure it, see what the outcome was. If it was the initial desired outcome, good for you, well done, that's fantastic. For many of us, it's not, but you do have a result, and that is also fantastic, because now you can look at that result and you can make a new plan after making some adjustments and move forward and put that into action, and now stick with that until you get to the end. And if you still don't get the desired result, then repeat until you get to the desired result. So there's some tips that I hope can help you improve your performance, that I know they can if you apply the technology. I also have a free a handout on this on my website. It's managemymojo.com, and it's called a Performance Improvement Plan. You can go down there and download the little booklet for free. There's a code. Make sure you put the code in, otherwise there's a $1 charge. And so I hope it helps for you. Please feel free to put comments down, or to let me know, or to get in touch. My email is everywhere. And remember, be the best you can be. Smile as often as you can and treat other people the way that you would like to be treated.